creativity, social responsibility, and innovation, leading to innovative, sustainable, and social responsible society, enabling humankind way out from the current global social and economic crisis, or crisis of plenty, or crisis of abundance. The content, it fits with the beautiful painting of Michelangelo Merisi da Caravaggio, because the current era revealed the true dimension of diversity, equity, inclusion in combination with influence of social media, artificial intelligence in the secret, untouchable environments of elite university and beyond. While youth is literally crying out of purpose and direction, social media and DEI quietly assume the role of false prophet, promising long-lost, everlasting justice and righteousness. Social networks, artificial intelligence are teachers, friends, partners, comforters, complainants, and judges. And there is a complete alienation of the programmed generation to the world of the intangible and complete absence of sanction-taking responsibility. And such little merger turns out to be at most prominent in university campuses, reflecting in poorest overall knowledge and skills outcomes. Genderless, psyopless mass, dressed in and guided by destruction of existing, this is the epitome of current university dystopia. Equality is heretic now, and equity is divine salvation. Unless people forget, plagiarism is celebrated and Daltonism is lacking. Now we have a new kind of dubious plagiarism, which is ChatGPT. So you don't know exactly who are you talking to, or who did you write to, or he or who write you back. Efforts fighting one-sidedness and fictitious expertise are very necessary at the moment. The slogan, diversity and meritocracy, was cited or presented as marriage made in hell. This sounds like an addictive mantra celebrating the victory of mass mediocrity. DEI can also mean, in our view, destroy, eradicate ad impera, with latent residua of sulfuric rain at the autonomous ground of alma mater. Our interpretation of DEI is diversity and meritocracy. This is and was a bitter divorce creating hell. So we went 103 years ago when Alexander Alexandrovich Bogdanov, his name is also Alexander Malinowski, wrote the Techtologia, or Techtology. When the part of this book is describing crisis of form, which is a methodological foundation. So that's why we use Bogdanov's consideration of two types of crisis, freezing and explosive. We were searching for the characteristics that could fit to the freezing or explosive crisis according to Bogdanov. So the freezing crisis brings equilibrium through crisis resolution, and the explosive one are destroying the system. So using the study of technology, one can not only study the crisis, but also predict its occurrence. Some classes are collapsing while the remaining ones are more viable. So the university creation of youth, future educated elite, led, chased by social media and artificial intelligence, being chosen by identity and tendency to rule, imperare, both DEI, not merit, perfect, apathic transformation of already complicated. So we are predicting that complex and complexity is yet to come. It is plausible, that's why, to conclude that complexity theory might help since it restores the principle of general system theory base of Tectonica, after the concept of requisite holism through interdisciplinary cooperation has essentially lost the competitive struggle with DEI, advanced technologies, and danger of narrow specialization. This is the determination, sharp transition, disturbance in continuity. For technology as a science, it is insufficient to have a simple statement, crisis is a change in organizational form. You also have to use the mathematical interpretation, which mathematics talks about magnitudes, which are considered as increasing versus decreasing. Both are continuous processes with no character of crisis. But two of their moments representing real crisis, the origination of magnitudes and their destruction. So change in organizational form, which is happening at university, represents as totality of connection among elements. A change in form is really a destruction of any connections, appearance of new one or both. So the essence of crisis lies in the formation or violation of complete disintegration. And importantly, most important crises are elusive, latent moments. Its ascending line is replaced by descending line, and we are talking then about the violation of continuity. Bogdanov has described two types of crisis. Crisis C, conjunctive or joining, and crisis D, disjunctive or separating. So in essence, any conjunction begins with crisis C, the breakup of boundaries, and any disintegration of a complex originates from crisis D. So we assume that universities are living crisis D. So crisis is a disturbance of equilibrium and transition to some new one. Hope we will stop and think about this transition, because this transition, without the control, without talking about it, without studying, can be devastating. So it is possible to predict the final results of crisis, limiting equilibrium. If we talk about crisis D, outcomes can be regeneration or destruction. We hope on regeneration. First, it's never complete and precise, but always accompanied by a partial destruction. The second destruction goes on only to a definite depth and stops on these or other elements of the former whole, on partial complexes which damage is overcome in this or that way by a corresponding regeneration. Bogdanov also describes the crisis of degrees and orders. So crisis over crisis. And this crisis at university can be described as crisis of a second order, because the crisis of higher orders cannot be captured by the usual methods of perception. They can only be resolved by scientific calculation or juxtaposition, meaning we will have to take care, or we will have to take the scientific look of what is currently going on, what is happening with knowledge, and this celebrating of mediocrity. So using the study of technology, one can not only study the crisis, but also predict its occurrence. Some classes are collapsing while the remaining ones are more viable. Such interpretation using Bogdanov technology of crisis management tackling DEI is unique, revolutionary, controversial in some selected viewpoint and beyond the state of art. Complexity theory developed 5 basic streams of system theory and cybernetics, and we know that. As a mathematical discipline, stream 1, interdisciplinary stream 3, mathematical or stream 5. So in addition, let's step back and recall facts about cybernetic system by type of feedback loop. We have autonomic, homeostatic, and cybernetic. And we know that we will wish for negative feedback loop, which is the stabilizer of the system. But we are afraid that at universities now we are facing the positive feedback loop, which is mismatched behavior, intended performance, and initiator of modification. So one way or another, the change will happen, the changes are happening. But if we will not control these changes at the university, then we will have final destruction of the system or universities we knew. We hope that circulus vitiosus, which is the pathological one, will not happen. So in the end, I can say that in essence, the university should return to the ergodic system, since it is the only one that captures in its definition development, not just returning to an equilibrium state. I'm not very sure that I was able to show what's going on, really going on, or what I think it's going on. But 103 years ago, Alexander Bogdanov was the first he is the author of general system theory, not Ludwig von Bertalanffy, because this text was originally written in Russian. What Bogdanov gave us 103 years ago should not be forgotten, because he described exactly what's going on at the universities right now by describing the explosive crisis. So I will end with Latin word or quote, "What harms often teaches, and I wonder, does it?" And this is the movie I like very much, Cercando la grande bellezza. This is a really movie that can be transformed or translate to what's happening at universities. I'm trying to tell you that we have to use the system theories and cybernetics to cope with the problems we are facing at the moment at the university, and that we as the professors are responsible. Thank you so much.